Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news update show. Very sorry there was a 5-6 minute delay in the live. I actually fell asleep. I was meant to have like a little nap and then I was like, oh my god, it's 5 to 6. I'm live in 5 minutes. I am not prepared. So I do apologise, but that doesn't matter. We've got transfer news to get in and a few positive updates on Dion and Timber. And I know what you're thinking, Dion, this Timber, this shut up, Alice. Oh, I'm so fed up with Dion and Timber. I'm so fed up with it. And so am I. You know, I don't know how we're going to talk for another hour about this happened with Dion today and this happened with Timber today. But things did happen and they're good things. They're positive things. They're going to get into the news. It is a bit of a hurry up and get it done. But reports saying that Timber will 100% join Manchester United. And Fabrizio Romano has given more of an update on Dion, which is very positive signs. Harry Maguire spoke out about his poor form. The PFA Player of the Seasons are out. Lingard, Pogba departure announcements are done. Bish, Bash, Bosh. Let's get into the news and all of that. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video and all of that. But Pogba and Lingard finally gone. My question for you guys is rate Pogba and Lingard's time at United out of 10 in the chat. Between 1 and 10, what are you rating Pogba and Lingard as well? And smash the like. Anyone heard about the Asensio deal? Apparently Asensio wants to move to United. Don't think there's anything in it. Honestly, is she in bed with De Jong? Is that the medical? Honestly, I apologise. I'm a little bit late to the live as well. But yes, people saying 4 out of 10. So we'll start with Pogba before I get to the news. What do you give Pogba out of 10? Because if you're putting in price tag and expectations, it's about 4 or 5, especially the last few seasons being injured. I think if you weren't 100 million, it's about 6. You know, we had our best moments at Manchester United came when Paul Pogba was playing, and our best moments in the last 5 years was obviously Europa League and stuff with Jose Mourinho. We had a very good run of form under Rolly, where it was Matic, Herrera, Pogba, and then we had another very good run of form under Rolly, where it was Matic, Pogba, Bruno. Our best form has been when Pogba plays, because he's 100 million, because we brought him for 100 million, he's left for 3 again, because of the injuries and because of, you know, towards the end and, you know, not consistent. I would give Pogba a 5 out of 10 at Manchester United, and I would probably give Lingard a 5 out of 10 at Manchester United, and that's purely because of some important goals he scored in finals. If not, he'd be a lot lower. I mean, I think Lingard really is lower than Pogba when you think about it. Because Lingard was absolutely useless for the last 3 seasons at United. Absolutely useless this season, useless last season because he was on loan, and the season before he was, you know, he couldn't even get in the team once Bruno had joined. So, I mean, if Pogba a 6 and maybe Lingard a 5, because like at the end of the day, if you look at the Man United standard of Scholes and Carrick and stuff, you put in Lingard at 3 and Pogba at 5. But I'm trying to look at the whole load of it and the trophies you won and all of that, and Lingard and Pogba were there. So let me know what you give them out of 10 for their time at United. People saying Pogba. I've seen a lot of 2s as well. People saying Likegaard, Pogba. I'd say Pogba 6, Lingard 5 or 4. To be fair, I think Pogba definitely the better time. What did Pogba do this year? Pogba didn't really do anything this season. He started well with them 7 assists in about 2-3 games, and then it just kind of dropped off, didn't it? He had a few good moments under Rangnick, Paul Pogba. Then he got injured, and then he just weren't the same. So let me just take a quick swig of water. What are we going to be talking about in today's video? Well, we're going to be talking about, of course, Frankie de Jong and, of course, JURRIEN Timber. Look, guys, Man United are being linked to the same 3 or 4 players over and over again and over and over again. We haven't signed anyone. I am fed up with it, but at the same time, I'm not worried. I'm a bit worried at the lack of CDM links. I don't, you know, we could buy Dion and we could stick Dion next to McTominay, and we'll wonder why Dion isn't as good as he was at Barca. When you stick him next to McTominay, you've got to build a team. I don't want United thinking we buy Dion, that's the midfield done. You know, we brought Pogba, we thought that was the midfield sorted. It obviously wasn't. You need to build a team around Pogba. We didn't, which is why Pogba wasn't as good as he could have been. You know, we brought Maguire. We thought the defence was done. It wasn't, okay? Man United need to make sure they buy another midfielder on top of De Jong. But Man United in the past, you look at last transfer window, we brought Sancho in June, Varane in July, and we panic in August and we buy players in August. Man United in the transfer windows in the past buy 1 player a month. You get 1 in June, you get 1 in July, and you get a panic buy in August. That's what we've done every single transfer window for the last few years. I think this transfer window will be different. Nothing has happened now But I think there could be, instead of 1 in June, 1 in July, and a panic in August, I think there could be 3 or 4 shaping up in June and early July. So rather than signing a player, waiting 5-6 weeks, signing another player, waiting 5-6 weeks, signing another player, I generally believe it will be sign a player, wait a week, sign another player, wait maybe 2 weeks, sign a player. I generally believe that, we'd normally get to August and we sign 2 players. I generally believe we'll get our business done by August, by the start of the season. I'm remaining confident in that. I know that's what Ten Hag wants. I know that's what Mertesaing is trying to do. And I know United are working behind the scenes hard on deals, as Fabrizio Romano said. So that is what I'm hoping is happening. Wouldn't put it past United to get to August and we brought 1 player because we spent all our time trying to get Dion who didn't want to come or something like that. But there has been some more advancements in Dion to Manchester United, which is exactly what I'm going to get into as well. Look at the panic. No more panic buying. Looks like they don't have proper planning. Hopefully, no more panic buying. Dembele's a pipe dream. I like Usman Dembele, but I don't think he's the type of signing we should be doing. Cucurella is very good, but do not like his hair. I agree with you on that awful hairstyle, but I don't care. I always say this about players. I don't care what a player's hair is like. I don't really care if a player goes out drinking. I don't care what a player's skin color is. I don't care what a player's religion is. I literally couldn't care if what the player did. I generally don't, as long as you're a good player. That's how I feel. When everyone was going on about Paul Pogba's hair, I said, I don't give a fuck what Paul Pogba's hair is like, as long as you're a good player as well. Please leave it. De Jong and Neves better than him. I don't think Neves would work with De Jong. I think with De Jong and Sangare would be my preferred one, and it's all the Dutch players as well. If United aren't careful, they will drag the De Jong transfer, miss other players. Exactly. And the De Jong one is starting to drag, but what I do know is Barcelona have to get their finances started by the beginning of July. So the good thing about the De Jong situation is in July and August, if you don't get De Jong, it's not going to happen, and you have 2 months to focus on other players as well. Aaron Ramsey incoming, hopefully not. And Dembele's a huge risk, attitude issues and horrific injuries last 4 seasons. Yeah, this is why I don't want Dembele. He's a brilliant player. He's had a brilliant season this year, but the attitude problems, we don't need that in the dressing room. Injuries and all of that. But we are nearly 10 minutes into the live stream and I haven't spoke about De Jong. So what is the latest news? What is the transfer and all of that? So the Tier 1 reliable journalist from the Netherlands, Mike Way, also confirmed Erik ten Hag wants to bring Frankie de Jong to Manchester United. In fact, he's the #1 priority signing. So Laurie Whitwell and Mike Way have both said Frankie de Jong is Erik ten Hag's #1 priority signing. It came out from Fabrizio Romano this morning that Manchester United have opened direct talks with Barcelona for Frankie de Jong. Price tag around €85 million, waiting for a bid. Manchester United is still not convinced that De Jong will leave Barcelona because he wants UCL football. Man United will try and push again as Barcelona need to solve financial issues. So what we know about De Jong to United is Erik ten Hag spoke to De Jong a lot. Erik ten Hag believes he can convince De Jong to come. We know that United will pay the money Barcelona want, which is about £68 million. We also know that United are now in direct talks with Barcelona. We know that Man United have been in negotiations with Barcelona. Man United have had contact with De Jong, and Man United are now in direct contact with Barcelona in direct talks, and Fabrizio Romano's confirmed this. How I feel about the De Jong situation is Man United never go in direct talks for a player unless they sign them. With Jadon Sancho, we agreed personal terms, went in direct talks with him, but we didn't agree on the price. With Bruno Fernandes, when we were going to get him in the summer, we agreed personal terms, went in direct talks with Bruno and didn't get him. Man United, whenever they sign a player, they agree personal terms with the player, then they go into direct talks, and then the reason we don't sign a player is because we can't agree on a price in direct talks. We know from reports 3-4 days ago, Man United and Barcelona have agreed a price for Frankie de Jong that Man United will be willing to pay, and United are in direct talks with Barcelona over Frankie de Jong. We know that. And I think, I look at this 2 ways. I go, why would Man United be pursuing all this time for Frankie de Jong? Why would we be in talks with Barcelona, agreeing with a fee, and still negotiating with Barcelona for multiple weeks if he wasn't going to come? We very rarely go into talks with the club. We get personal terms sorted and have a few inquiries with the club, but we very rarely go into direct transfer talks and negotiations with a club unless we plan to sign that player. Because when we fail to sign a player, it's because we don't want to give them the money. Okay, but when we've agreed a fee and we're in direct talks, that means we are willing to give the money. And United don't do that unless they believe they're going to sign a player. So I look at this news one way. Why would we be going in for De Jong still, after multiple weeks, still going in for De Jong, still negotiating with Barcelona if he wasn't going to join us? Is it A, that De Jong actually can be convinced to join United and is going to have to leave Barcelona, and Ten Hag thinks he can convince De Jong, because if he goes to League 1, he goes to PSG, it's a Farmers League. If he goes to Bayern Munich, it's a Farmers League. It's between United and Arsenal. Maybe Ten Hag thinks he can convince De Jong. Or is it two, that Manchester United, and we know Manchester United are idiots in the transfer window and are wasting all their time on a Frankie De Jong deal for him not to join the club, but is still convinced deludedly that he is going to join. We obviously got Pogba and Zlatan without Champions League football. We are more than capable of getting De Jong, but are Manchester United just being idiots in the transfer window, chasing a dream and wasting their time like they did with Jadon Sancho 2 seasons ago? We spent all that time on him and we didn't sign him. What is it? Is it either we can convince him to join and he's going to be forced out of Barcelona because of financial issues? Yes, Barcelona did sort out their financial situation. However, if they want to sign and sell players, they will have to sell De Jong, who is their most valuable asset. Or is it that we're an idiot at the transfer market? Because it could easily be one of the two, because we absolutely are idiots in the transfer market. Obviously, I know we've got John Murta in. I know that we've obviously changed the structure of how we do transfers and all of that. But I still think, we can still get rid of Woodward and Judge and be idiots in the transfer market. Andrew said it's frustrating, but I understand waiting around and trying to convince Frankie De Jong. Most of the other midfielders we're linked to are a big step down from De Jong. And you're absolutely spot on with that, Andrew. Absolutely spot on. And fear is not a problem. Champions League absent is the problem in the De Jong deal. That is the problem. But at the end of the day, if De Jong's pushed out of Barcelona, I think we can convince him. I think really, and I know Romano is saying it's Champions League absent and all of that, but a journalist from Spain is saying it's not the Champions League thing. It's just the fact that De Jong doesn't want to leave Barcelona. It's like, I think if Barcelona in the Europa League, De Jong would still stay at Barcelona. Barcelona is De Jong's childhood club. Barcelona is Frankie De Jong's favourite club. And I generally think a big part of this is sort of De Jong's love for Barcelona. I don't really believe that it's Champions League. I think it's that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. And that's just an unpopular opinion of mine. But we know that the United would pay Barcelona the money they want for De Jong. Like, De Jong is Manchester United's dream signing, Erik ten Hag's dream signing. We will give Barcelona the money they want for De Jong. The price tag is 80 million euros. That is 68 million pounds. And people are going kind of crazy. They're saying 68 million pounds for De Jong. He doesn't want to come. What a waste. De Jong has 4 years left on his contract and costs 68 million pounds. Declan Rice has 2 years left on his contract and costs 150 million pounds. Who is a better player right now, Declan Rice or Frankie De Jong? Frankie De Jong. Yes, he's not an out-and-out CDM like Declan Rice, but Frankie De Jong is a better player than Declan Rice. Compare him to Calvin Phillips being quoted at £60 million now, Leeds stay up. If you compare him for Ruben Neves only being £18 million cheaper at £50 million, if you compare him to Declan Rice, who has 2 years on his contract, not 4, at £150 million, £68 million for Frankie De Jong really is not that bad. It's not. He's worth that. He's young. He's 25. I would pay 70 million for Frankie De Jong. The only thing I don't like about Frankie De Jong is if he doesn't want to come. If he's coming for the money, then we want to avoid that. Frankie De Jong wants to stay at Barcelona. I generally don't believe that it's not. I don't believe Frankie De Jong. Fuck this up. I do not believe that Frankie De Jong doesn't want to come to United. I believe he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. I don't think Frankie De Jong has a thing against United. I don't think Frankie De Jong's sitting here going, I'll never go to Man United. I don't like Man United. I don't think Frankie De Jong has a dislike to Man United. I think it's that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona because he loves Barcelona. If I played for Man United, even as shit as we are right now, I wouldn't want to leave Man United because it's the club I love. Unless we're getting relegated, as long as we're in the Premier League, and I believe we were going to bounce back. If we're in the situation we are right now, as bad as it was, I wouldn't want to leave Man United because it's the club I love. And De Jong was a Barcelona fan. He grew up a Barcelona fan. And I think, and this is my genuine belief, I think the reason Man United is still negotiating for Frankie De Jong, the reason we're still trying to get Frankie De Jong is because we believe we can get him. It's not that he doesn't want to come to United, it's that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but he still might have to leave Barcelona. And I think Erik ten Hag knows that if he leaves Barcelona, he can convince De Jong to join. Because, right now, we're hearing De Jong doesn't want to come, he wants to stay in the UCL, wants to stay at Barcelona, but Man United is still negotiating and in talks with Barcelona. We've agreed a fee with Barcelona. As I've said, why would we waste all this time negotiating with Barcelona? Why would we agree a fee with Barcelona if we knew De Jong wasn't going to come? Why would we spend all this time negotiating, agreeing a fee with Barcelona, reaching out for De Jong if we knew he wasn't going to join? Erik ten Hag has some hope that he's going to join, and that is probably because he doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but if he has to leave Barcelona, he can be convinced to come to Manchester United. And if you look at Barcelona's financial situation, realistically, if they want to get Lewandowski and register Christensen and Kessie and sign Rafinha and the players they want, they will have to let go of Frankie de Jong. And that, I think, is why United are absolutely pursuing de Jong still, despite that player not destined to go, because if he leaves Barcelona, he can be convinced to join, and Spanish journalists are saying it will be Barcelona or Man United for de Jong. Man United, the only side willing to pay the 70 million Barcelona want, will be Man United or Barcelona for de Jong if he stays, if he goes. And you know what? I don't think the decision is down to de Jong. I think that de Jong would want to stay. I think that Barcelona would ideally want to keep de Jong because he's an absolutely fantastic player. But I don't think that decision is down to de Jong. I think that decision is down to Barcelona. I think Barcelona are trying to see if they can keep de Jong, but I think Barcelona are looking at United offering them 70 million for de Jong and then sitting there and going, we need that 70 million. And I've said it before and I'll say it again about de Jong. He wants Champions League football, or does he just not want to leave Barcelona? I generally believe it's that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona because they're his boyhood club. I think if he has to leave Barcelona, I think Ten Hag can convince him to come to us either PSG or Bayern Munich. You know, we've got Zlatan, we've got Paul Pogba, and I think that is why we're pursuing him, because I think we can still convince him to come. Smash that like button, subscribe down below, and share the video and all of that. People saying it's 80 million euros, which is 68 million pounds. So it's 80 million euros, which is 68 million pounds. De Jong now likely. People saying De Jong overrated. De Jong is 10 times the player Scott McTominay is. Frankie de Jong would love to play with Timber and Donny as soon as Barca pushes him out to come to United. Yeah, we can form a little Dutch crew as well. And de Jong is a childhood Barca fan. Understandable he'd not quickly jump to lead. Exactly. De Jong said he preferred Barcelona. Exactly what I'm saying. De Jong would prefer Barcelona, but he knows there's a financial situation going on at Barcelona, and he knows he might have to leave. People say forget De Jong, sign players who forget De Jong, sign players who attract De Jong to United. That's a good approach. Maybe we should sign like Messi, and then maybe De Jong will come if we get Messi in, and all De Jong's favourite players say, you can play with Messi and Ronaldo. I wouldn't be opposed to us signing Messi. I just wouldn't want to be bringing in the Messi on that high wages, to be fair, as well, because he could play right wing, which is what we need. United should go all in for Spence. Delo's not that good defensively. I agree, but Spence wouldn't be my first right back, and it's frustrating. But I understand trying to convince De Jong to come. Exactly. Just getting through a few live chats before I get into the next news. The next news story as well. Would I like Dembele to come? Probably not, because of attitude and injury issues. I think if he was going to come here and never be injured and never have attitude problems 100%, but you can't guarantee that as well. And maybe De Jong said to Ten Hag he would love to join United if he has to leave Barcelona, and that's why United are now in contact with Barcelona. And that's generally what I was saying. That's what I believe is going on. I know you've got Romano saying, you know, because of lack of Champions League football, it's going to be hard to convince De Jong to come, and that there'll be, you know, United will have to, if he has to leave Barcelona, United will have to beat out PSG and all of that, you know. But I generally believe that because I listened to the De Jong interview, you know, De Jong literally said he loves Barcelona. He knows the situation going on at Barcelona. If other clubs call, then he can't say no. If he has to leave, you know, he has to leave. I generally believe the reason we are pursuing Frankie de Jong still, despite reports that he wants Champions League football, is because de Jong's probably said, I want to stay at Barcelona, it's the club I love, to Ten Hag, but he said, if I have to leave, I will consider Man United. Because look at PSG, who would go for de Jong. They sign Wijnaldum, they don't play him. PSG have about 50 centre midfielders. I'm sorry, but they do. Verratti, Wijnaldum, Danilo, Pereira, Herrera, Paredes. I mean, how many more? Like, is Draxler still there? PSG midfielders. You know, they didn't want Paul Pogba PSG because they don't want a midfielder. They could have signed Paul Pogba on a free. They've got Xavi Simons, Verratti, Wijnaldum, Danilo Pereira. They've got Idrissa Gueye as well. They've got Mashut. They've got Paredes. They've got Draxler. They've got Herrera. And they've got a few youth players coming through. You know, if you look at PSG, okay, he's not guaranteed game time. I think he would start. But, you know, PSG got some very good midfielders. He's not guaranteed game time. PSG don't need a midfielder that much. If they passed out Paul Pogba on a free, do you see, you know, if they passed out Paul Pogba on a free, do you see PSG spending 70 million on de Jong? No. You look at Bayern Munich, you look at their midfielders. They've got Tolisso, Kimmich, Goretzka, Musiala, Sabitzer. They're also trying to sign Lemar, you know, and they've got lots of other players. Again, do Bayern Munich really want to spend 70 million on a midfielder when they've got Goretzka and Kimmich. Maybe Bayern would, maybe because their midfield is a lot thin, maybe they would, but I reckon the reason Ten Hag is still going on about De Jong, the reason Man United is still going in for Frankie De Jong is because if Frankie De Jong wants to stay at Barcelona, it's the club he loves. But if Frankie De Jong has to leave Barcelona, he's open to joining United because he's not guaranteed game time at PSG or Bayern. It's not the most interesting league, and his only option could be Man United. And I don't think it's about Champions League football. I think it's I don't want to leave Barcelona, but if I have to, Ten Hag, I'll consider you, which is exactly why United is still pursuing De Jong, because after Ten Hag, we know Ten Hag's had 3, 4, 5 phone calls with Frankie De Jong. And, in those phone calls with Frankie De Jong, Ten Hag knows more than us. And, the journalists do not know. The journalists saying that Frankie De Jong has no interest in United, he wants Champions League football and all of that. They know more than me, of course they do. But those journalists, they don't know what's gone on in that phone call. They don't know what he said to him. They don't know exactly what conversation Ten Hag and Frankie De Jong has had. Only Ten Hag and Man United and Frankie De Jong know what's gone on in that conversation between Ten Hag and Frankie De Jong. And if Ten Hag thought Frankie De Jong wasn't going to come to United, if Ten Hag thought 100% no way we can sign him, I think we'd have given up on him already. He's had multiple phone calls. There must have been something said in that phone call which makes Ten Hag believe that he will get Frankie De Jong, because reports are coming out saying United are confident they can sign Frankie De Jong. And, United are still pursuing Frankie De Jong. We're still in negotiations for Frankie De Jong. We're still working hard to sign Frankie De Jong. I think there's something that's gone on in that phone call which convinced Ten Hag that he can get Frankie De Jong. And Ten Hag's confident he can convince Frankie De Jong to join. So I reckon in that phone call, it's generally been Frankie saying, I want to stay at Barcelona. It's the club I love. But if I have to leave, I'm open to joining you. I generally believe that's what's gone on. And Ten Hag goes, well, he might have to leave. It's likely he's going to have to leave because of that financial situation. He's open to joining us, so you have to leave. Push, push, push. I tell you this now. If Frankie De Jong had said straight up to Ten Hag, I'm not coming to United, we would have dropped it. We wouldn't be in for him because Ten Hag's not an idiot. We're pursuing him still for a reason. Romano said today we're still in talks with Barcelona. We're pursuing him for a reason. And that is because I generally believe if he has to leave Barcelona, he will come. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but he might have to. And it's not in his hands. And I think that is why we're pursuing Frankie De Jong. And I think, again, 80 million euros, 68 million pounds. That's 18 more million than Neves. It's 10 more million than Calvin Phillips has been quoted at. It's half the price of Declan Rice. I don't think it's bad business for a 25-year-old with 4 years left on his contract, which is one of the best midfielders in the world that works under Erik ten Hag's system. I think it's a good deal. I understand why we're still working on the De Jong deal, but it's just getting a bit boring now. And I just think I tell you this now: if we don't have De Jong in July, it won't happen. The deal will be over by July because then Barcelona, the finance situation, bish bash bosh sorted. If it happens in June. I tell you that now, and we're in June already. So keep your eyes peeled. What I will say is please do subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to my channel, because if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, make sure you subscribe, because the minute we get an update on Dion, the minute we get an update on Timber, I'll be live to let you guys know. If Jong happens, it will happen in June. If Timber happens, it will happen in June. There will be signings in June. I'm very confident of that. So if you want to know the latest and all the ins and outs, make sure you subscribe, because if we sign a player, I'll be live. If we sell a player, I'll be live. If a bid goes in, if personal terms happen, I'll be live. If I wake up tomorrow and it says Frankie De Jong has agreed personal terms with Man United, then that's a done deal. Even though the deal hasn't happened, we know if De Jong agrees personal terms with us, that's a done deal. So basically, if anything happens, I'm live to let you know. So do make sure you subscribe if you're new as well. I think Dion will come without UCL. The Mason Mount links is by The Sun, who are the least reliable outlet out there. So I don't think the Mason Mount links have anything in it. We have got over 400 people watching. So as Diego said, like and subscribe. And Bin said today United are in for TYRELL Malassa now. Exactly. I did read an article that we're in for the left back. We're keeping it quiet. But there's also a French club in for TYRELL Malassa as well. He was very good in the final against Roma. Very pacey left back, £15 million. I think very good value for money out there. Good competition for Luke Shaw because TORRES is absolutely shite. And I think he could really overtake Luke Shaw if Luke Shaw doesn't find his Euro form. So yeah, that's a TYRELL Malassa. Very, very would like to see that. And what is if Frankie De Jong a discussion with Donny? He said, nah, bro, don't go. I think Donny won't be negative now. I think Donny will be like, well, Ten Hag's him, I think if Frankie De Jong had a conversation with Donny last year, he'd be like, nah, bro, don't go. But now Ten Hag's in, I can't see Donny van der Beek being particularly negative. I don't know if you could, but I can't see Donny telling him not to come. It's sad though, you know, thinking that Timber and Frankie de Jong and all the Dutch guys are linking up at the Dutch international break, and you know Van der Beek isn't there. He's not on international break with his pals because we've ruined his career, and you know hopefully Ten Hag gets that back. Usman tweeted a picture of Man United's midfield. I'm going to try and find the tweet actually. And I just thought, you know what, Dion could be like a new signing for United. I don't know, loads of people say that. Not Dion, sorry, Dion, Donny van der Beek. I'm hoping will be like a new signing for Man United because I'm going to show you this now. This is going to shock you. This is our midfield. Are you ready for this, guys? Are you ready? Now everyone's left. This is the Manchester United midfield. This is our midfield options. And Amad Diallo isn't even a midfielder. That's what I'm talking about. McTominay, Van der Beek, Bruno Pereira, and Fred. There are our 5 midfielders for next season. And yeah, I look at that and I go, we don't just need Frankie de Jong. I look at that and think we need 3 midfielders at least. No, I trust Bruno can get his form back. I trust Bruno's good enough. I trust that Donny van der Beek can get his form back under Ten Hag and be like a new signing. Scott McTominay, a bench player at best. Andreas Pereira, nowhere near good enough. And Fred, you know, he's good. He can do a job. But my God, you know, that is a shocking midfield. And that is the midfield right now at Manchester United for next season if we don't sign a midfielder. So I don't want to see us just signing Frankie de Jong. I want to see us sign 2 midfielders. Frankie de Jong is not enough. Frankie de Jong and Sangare, that's all right. Frankie de Jong and Basuma, that's all right. But even if we don't get Frankie de Jong, we need at least 2 midfielders because that is our midfield for next season. And I'm hoping Donny will be like a new signing. We've obviously got James Garner to come in as well, but I believe he will go out on loan. And I don't know if he's ready yet, as brilliant as he's been on loan. But that is horrific. That is a relegation midfield with Bruno in. That is really, it really is. That 16th place, that midfield maybe. I think I could name at least 16, 15 Premier League clubs with a better midfield than us and that is the state of our midfield. And Frankie de Jong and Alema revitalises the midfield. Frankie de Jong and Sangare revitalises the midfield. But, you know, one thing you can say is you can show that to Frankie de Jong and go, mate, you'll be getting game time. That is our midfield. And Frankie de Jong will be like, cool. You know, I think if you're Donny van der Beek and you look at that, Matic has gone, Pogba's gone, and Ten Hag's in, I think Donny van der Beek is guaranteed game time next season. But we still need to sign 2 midfielders because even if de Jong comes and even if Donny finds his form and we keep James Garner, it's not enough because if they get injured, it's McFred and Bruno. And McFred and Bruno under Ragnick was shite, under Rolly was shite. It just doesn't work. And you know, the midfield worries me for next season. I see why it's the #1 priority. And the good thing is, with what Laurie Whitwell said, is that Ten Hag sees the Manchester United midfield as #1 priority for next season. Ten Hag's not stupid. He knows it needs to be sorted. And Laurie Whitwell, who's a Tier 1 journalist, works for The Athletic, said that Ten Hag wants at least 2 midfielders. That's what Laurie Whitwell said. And hopefully that is the case. Guys, please do smash that like button if you have not already, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, make sure you subscribe. We've got a busy June ahead. I believe that we'll get 2 or 3 signings done in June. We're working on 2 or 3 signings now. I think they will be done or nearly done in June. I think we'll get some big updates in the coming weeks. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest news when we buy a player, when we sell a player, if personal terms are agreed, all the latest on De Jong, Timber, Malacia, CDMs, all the latest transfer news, make sure you subscribe because I go live every single evening keeping you guys up to date on all the latest transfer news. And if we sign a player, if there's any breaking news, then I'll be live to let you know if there's any done deals. De Jong and Ruiz would be good, but I don't know if I feel like they're too similar. I think if you don't get De Jong, you get Ruiz, you don't get both. I think you need I think De Jong is that Pogba replacement, and I think then you need that Matic replacement, which is more of a CDM. But because Ten Hag plays a 4-2-3-1, it doesn't have to be an out-and-out 6 like Rice. It just needs to be a player that's defensively sound enough to complement De Jong in a pivot. We need at least 5 players, counting selling Jones, buying Martial, Aaron, Henderson for further money. Kind of crazy that we might get 50 mil for Henderson, but everyone else is I think we can get 30 mil for Henderson. If Ramsdale was 30 mil and he got relegated, I think we can get 30 mil for Henderson as well. And De Jong and Kante, I don't know, maybe. I mean, Laurie Whitwell did say De Jong and Kante were targets. And let's not forget Garner. If he stays with us next season, his performances reminded me of Grealish and Mount's level winner in the Championship. Exactly. Garner could be of use next season. We could get Ericsson on a free again, but it's not. It sounds weird. Like, I know Bruno's our only attacking midfielder, but Donny can play there if something happens with Bruno. It's the Fred, Andreas Pereira and McTominay to play in the pivot. That's what scares me more than anything else. And you've got Gratilish, who plays in the Bundesliga available on a free. I don't think he's the best midfielder in the world, but I think he's an improvement of what we have. He could be a good baller on a free as well. Rebuild said we need fullbacks both sides, 2 mids, a striker and a winger in case Rashford isn't ready to play after spending 1 billion. Exactly. And we need a centre back on top of that. We need a centre back, we need a fullback. For me, we need a centre back, we need a fullback on each side because fullbacks are very integral to Ten Hag's shape, system, and how he plays. And you know, Romano said that Ten Hag's more than happy to keep Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, but doesn't rate the other 2 fullbacks. Romano didn't say those exact words. He said that Wan-Bissaka's future seems uncertain. Dillo will be in the plans. That's what he said. Just don't want to misquote him, but you know, fullbacks are very integral to Ten Hag's system. United need fullbacks 100%. I know we're looking at Malacia, who's a good player as well. He was fantastic against Rome, as you said. Malacia looks very promising, but a RB right back is more of a priority given our options. Yeah, I'd rather Luke Shaw. Like, Luke Shaw is our best fullback. Whether you like Luke Shaw or not, I 100% believe Luke Shaw is our best fullback. But we need a centre back, we need a fullback, we need 2 midfielders at least, a striker, and you could even look at needing a right winger as well. I do want to see Amad Diallo involved at right wing. Amad Diallo gives me Ten Hag vibes. Amad Diallo gives me the vibe of a type of player you'd see at Ajax as well. If you want my honest opinion, and Ten Hag will play Donny advance. Maybe he will. I don't know. I think we'll see bits of Donny advance and bits of Donny in the squad. I want to get into the Timber news though. I want to get into Timber news because a lot's come out about JURRIEN Timber. So first of all, talking of De Jong, obviously we need De Jong, guaranteed playing time. If you just joined the live stream, if you want to know all the latest on De Jong, Fabrizio Romano has said basically United have opened talks with Barcelona regarding the purchase of De Jong. Blah 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 blah. It could be 68 to 72 million to sign De Jong. Barcelona might need to sell De Jong because of financial issues and all of that. I said, look, Romano's confirmed talks with Barcelona have opened. We know Laurie Whitwell confirmed negotiations. Bish Bash Bosh, United and Barcelona are negotiating over a deal for De Jong. The price has been agreed at 80 million euros, which is 68 million pounds. Bish Bash Bosh, United are still advancing for De Jong. I said this if you just joined the live stream. Manchester United are confident they can sign De Jong. Man United wouldn't waste all this time negotiating with Barcelona, agreeing a fee, still in talks with Barcelona after a few weeks if they thought De Jong wasn't going to come. The journalists do not know what Ten Hag and De Jong's phone conversations were. They do not have a clue. Okay, they don't. So they'll say, "Oh, De Jong doesn't want Champions League football and all of that." I put money on that Ten Hag and De Jong's phone conversations was De Jong saying, "I want to stay at Barcelona. It's the club I love. I don't want to leave Barcelona, but I know because of financial issues, I might have to leave Barcelona. And if I do have to leave Barcelona, I'll consider United." I guarantee you that's probably what De Jong has said. Because if De Jong had said on the phone to Ten Hag, "I will not join," Man United would not be pursuing De Jong right now still. If De Jong really wasn't going to come to United and De Jong really didn't want to come to United, we wouldn't be pursuing him right now. It's not that De Jong doesn't want to come to United, it's that De Jong doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but he knows he might have to leave Barcelona because of financial issues. And I believe Erik Ten Hag's had enough. Erik Ten Hag feels confident United can still sign De Jong and has had 3 or 4 phone calls with him. So whatever's gone on in the phone calls between Ten Hag and De Jong has given Erik Ten Hag confidence that we can get De Jong because we're still pursuing him. And we never go in for direct talks with a club. We never ever go in for direct talks with a club unless we plan on signing that player. We do inquiries, but we do not do direct talks. And we wouldn't be wasting our time in direct talks with Barcelona if De Jong had really said to Ten Hag, "I won't come. You're not in the Champions League." De Jong, he said it in his interview, has probably said to Ten Hag, "I love Barcelona, I want to stay here, but I know I might have to go, and if I have to go, I'll consider it." And United know that he'll probably have to go because Barca's financial situation is in the mud. They know that if he has to go, they can get him. And I think that is why we're going in for Frankie de Jong, because we're confident that we can get him. I don't know if we'll get him. I'm still 60-40. We get De Jong, we don't get De Jong. But I think there's a chance we get De Jong because Barcelona have to sell. It's not in De Jong's hands, it's in Barcelona's finances hands. And I generally believe it's not that De Jong doesn't want to come to United, it's that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. And that is sort of what we were talking about earlier in the live stream, giving you guys the latest on De Jong and all of that as well. Man United could sign Daryl Dempsey and TYRELL Malacia. I'm open to both those signings as well. De Jong will probably sign Danny Drinkwater for 90 million. I wouldn't put it past United to sign someone like Danny Drinkwater. What a shit signing he's been for Chelsea. Hannibal's preparing for the World Cup with Tunisia now. He might show his worth. Hannibal could be used next season. Garner could be used next season. And Donny van der Beek will be like a new signing next season in the midfield. So I will say that as well. But yeah, if Shaw is the answer, I'd hate to know what the question is. I don't think Shaw is the answer. But if you look at Luke Shaw's Euro form, You know, he's not. If when Luke Shaw's in form, he's good. He's a good fullback. A lot of people don't like Luke Shaw, and he's been crap this season. He's had more crap seasons at United than good seasons. But if Luke Shaw finds his Euro form, he is a good player. Luke Shaw is our best fullback. And that maybe says, well, fucking hell, our fullbacks are dreadful. But if Luke Shaw can find his form, he's a good fullback. And I'm not worried about left back if Luke Shaw finds his form. I want TYRELL, MALACIA, I want Luke Shaw. I do not want to see TORRES playing at left back again because he is dreadful. Wan-Bissaka can go. Delo's young, he can be developed. I still think we need a right back. I don't think Delo's good enough. But I think when the whole squad is shit, you can get by with Delo at right back for a season. If Delo's crap, Timber can fill in. Now, we are going to talk about JURRIEN Timber because while Dion to United is still up in the air, it's about Barcelona. Our chances of getting De Jong is in Barcelona's hands, because if they have to sell De Jong, I think he will come. If they can keep him, he will stay, obviously. I think with De Jong, it's will he stay or will he go? And if he does go, it's with United. It came out from The Guardian via a very reliable journalist that John Murtagh, the Man United football director, is leading negotiations with De Jong. So John Murtagh right now is leading negotiations for Frankie De Jong. And Romano said via The Guardian that Manchester United have opened talks with Barcelona regarding the purchase of Frankie De Jong, with the club's financial constraints meaning the sale of the midfielder valued at about £70 million could be forced. That's also come out on De Jong. Jamie Jackson and Romano via The Guardian said Erik ten Hag and John Murtagh will hope the previously successful working relationship at Ajax can help persuade Frankie De Jong to sign for United should an agreement be reached. So they're saying if Man United can get an agreement with Barcelona, they think that they can convince De Jong to come because of Ajax and their good relationship and all of that. And Frankie De Jong doesn't see Manchester United as his prime destination if he has to leave Barcelona, but Ten Hag believes he can convince him, says Romano. So obviously Frankie De Jong would rather be at a big Champions League club, but I think he's still open to the idea of joining United, because Romano's had phone calls for Frankie De Jong and Romano's still pushing Man United to sign Frankie De Jong as well. Gerard Romano says Frankie De Jong to Manchester United is very, very hot. And Sky Sports, or Slow Sport News, again said that Manchester United have had initial talks with Barcelona over signing Frankie De Jong. And of course, Sky Sports say that 6 hours after everyone else, because they really are living up to the Slow Sports News nickname. But again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Keep an eye on De Jong. If it happens this month. I think we can get him. I think he will likely be forced out of Barcelona. But what I do like that's been said is that we're sort of working with Barcelona to get an agreement. And once we get an agreement, we think we can persuade De Jong. And also what I do like is one of the reasons Ten Hag was so successful at Ajax, and I've not seen anyone say this. But one of the reasons Ten Hag was so successful at Ajax is because of the structure of Ajax that they kind of built. They were all sort of working together at Ajax. If you didn't know, Overmars, Ten Hag, Van der Sar, they all worked quite closely. They all worked together at Ajax. And I think Ten Hag's sort of trying to rebuild that structure at Man United, because, did you ever really see Ollie and Woodward pictured together, or Ollie and Judge pictured together? Did you ever see Ollie with Woodward or Ollie with Judge? You didn't. Did you ever see Mourinho with Woodward or Mourinho with Judge? You rarely did. Did you ever see Van Gaal with Woodward, with Van Gaal with Judge? No. But you used to always see Ten Hag with Overmars and Van der Sar and all of that. And, John Murtagh, his office is now going to be in Carrington. He's now going to be working very closely with Ten Hag. And I think, Woodward didn't work that closely with Ollie. And one thing I've noticed is that I've seen a lot of Ten Hag and Murtagh together. I wonder if this will continue throughout the season, but it seems very obvious that that Murtagh and Ten Hag seem to be working together on things. We know that when Ten Hag came in, there was an agreement that he could veto incomings, outgoings, and new contracts, and that he was allowed a larger say than previous managers. But maybe Ten Hag, with bringing in Mitchell van der Gaard and bringing him, and obviously working with Murtagh, maybe Ten Hag's trying to rebuild the structure at Ajax in a weird way. Obviously, you can never rebuild that structure because our owners are the Glazers, but the fact that, John Murtagh's going to work a lot more closely by Ten Hag's side, that his office is now going to be at Carrington, he's going to be there a lot more. Is this Ten Hag's way of trying to have a close relationship with Murtagh, who's the man that will be making the overriding decisions, bringing in Mitchell van der Gaard, who had quite a technical role at Ajax, helping with youth development and stuff to help him, and almost trying to rebuild his Van der Sar, Overmars, Ten Hag trio, but doing it with van der Gaard and Murtagh, like a VTech version, rather than, previous managers basically just being told what to do by Woodward and saying, I want this player. Woodward's like, no, too expensive, what's your second choice? No, too expensive, what's your third choice? Because under Ollie, I think it was, Sancho's your first choice. Oh, he's too expensive. What's your second choice? Oh, no, he's too expensive. Oh, Ousmane Dembele, let me give it a go. Sorry, it failed. What's your fourth choice? Amad Diallo. Oh, we're going to have to stick 38 million in. Yo, that was Woodward. And I think I think that's a positive. Obviously, we have to judge Murta in 3 years. I'm trying to be positive about Murta. He was, I don't think he's the best option. I don't think he's the worst option. But I mean, I was that was something I always thought as well. Guys, smash that like button if you have not already, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, please do subscribe. At least Shaw's top half of the table fullback. The rest of our fullbacks aren't even Premier League level. I agree. You can question whether Luke Shaw's Man United level or not. When in form he is, when out of form he's still a top half fullback. But the other ones, are they even Premier League level? That's a very good chat there from Andrew. And it's important everyone is on the same page, coaching staff, football directors, board and members, says Diego, which is spot on. And Eric Ten Hag trying to build up a team around the players. He knows Frankie de Jong is very important in the rebuild, and maybe he'll be the new United captain. I believe captaincy will go to Bruno, De Gea or Ronaldo because de Jong would be new, but maybe long-term, yes. And I've always said this, and United Analytics tweeted it. If we sign Frankie de Jong, we've got to build a team around Frankie de Jong. Now, we have to say one thing about Eric Ten Hag is he's a manager known for building teams. Ollie wasn't a manager known for building teams. Ollie was a manager known for buying good players and Moments FC. Blah, 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 blah. Eric Ten Hag's a manager known for building teams. And I think with Eric Ten Hag, if he buys Frankie de Jong and then he sticks Frankie de Jong in the midfield that I just showed you. Let me get that midfield up again. Let me get that midfield up. Share the screen. If he buys Frankie de Jong and he sticks Frankie de Jong in this midfield, and these are all our midfielders at the moment, these are all our midfielders, then Frankie de Jong's the next Paul Pogba. He's the next Paul Pogba. We brought Maguire, thought he completed the defence. We brought de Jong, thought he completed the midfield. You've got to buy a team. You've got to build a team around de Jong, and you've got to buy de Jong and another midfielder and build a team around him. I am going to get into the latest on JURRIEN Timber as well. I will in just a second. And working together is key, but the worry is that the level of expertise Murta and Fletcher have nowhere near Van der Sar and Overmars exactly. That's why I said it's like a BTEC version as well. But again, you could say Van der Sar didn't prove anything before being CEO of Ajax, and time will tell if Murta has to prove his worth. Yeah, exactly. We've got Levitt, Galbraith. Yeah, I mean, are they ready or not? They're probably an improvement on Scott McTominay. I'm so fed up with Scott McTominay stinkers. He's had so many stinker performances as well. And nothing's changed. Still chasing players that don't want to be. It's still in the market. Got rid of a real football man. Ralph's going to be along summer. I do somewhat agree with that. But I think I'm going to judge the transfer window in August. I'm not going to judge it now. I'm trying to be positive because we've had such a negative season. And I think I will judge us in August. But I can completely understand why you think that as well. If I'm 100% being honest, I can completely understand why you think that. It's the first time and I'm watching your channel. Nice one. Thank you very much for subscribing. Means a lot as well. And please do smash a like, please do subscribe, please do share the video that everyone is new. Appreciate all the new people joining in. De Jong will be the new pop, but that's what I'm worried about. We spend all this time trying to sign and begging him to come, and we don't sign any other midfielder, so then De Jong has to play with McTominay. If De Jong has to play with McTominay, it's going to look a bit shite. Imagine playing with Prime Busquets and then playing with Scott McTominay, who arguably isn't even Premier League level. Scott McTominay, he can have some good games, and I do feel that he has played out of position and he's had poor poaching and he does try, and I'll give him that. But I see Scott McTominay as a Burnley midfielder. I really do. Lower Premier League, he's a Burnley midfielder, and they're now in the Championship. That's the Champions League, the Championship. Thanks, Prince, for the super chat. Alice, we shouldn't be exhausting all our budget on 1 or 2 signings. We need 6 or 7 minimum. The squad needs an overhaul. And I 100% agree with you. I'm happy to do one big signing on Dion because midfield's the priority. For me, I said this now. I don't want to spend more than 50 million on Darwin Nunez. He's not worth it. I'd rather look at cheaper options like Etike or Scamacca and spend 40 million on a striker. I'd happily spend 68 million on Dion because he's world class. He's integral to Ten Hag's plans and he's who Ten Hag wants. But for me, the way I look at it is TYRELL, MALACIA, 15 million pounds. That's a fullback. Timber, 35 million pounds. That's 50 million pounds on 2 defenders. Bish bash bosh. De Jong 70 million pounds for Dion. That's 120 million pounds on 3 players. Bish bash bosh. We've got 80 million left because let's say we raised 80 million through sales. We've got to sign another midfielder, so I'm going to go with someone like Sangare, 30 million. We've got 50 million left. Then you sign a striker like Scamacca, and that would be my 5 signings. But we need 5, 6 signings. I think we need 2 midfielders, a centre back, a full back, a striker, and even a right winger. But I think we could get by with Amad Diallo and Rashford alternating on the right. Maybe Cuckoo because he can play us on the right, Cam, striker. But yeah, 100% agree with you, mate. We can't live with just, we need 5, 6 signings. You're right. Italy versus Argentina. Yeah, I forgot that was happening. And for urgent matters, convert Donny to CDM. I think we might have to play Donny in the pivot. We played Donny in the pivot under Ollie, and I think he did a better job than Scott McTominay, which is why I was so confused that we didn't see Donny called up again as well. Next year will be another rebuild. Then Eric Ten Hag gets thrown under the bus. We sign shit sellers that don't work out. All goes wrong. Honestly, that's what I'm worried about. Honestly, we've got to back Ten Hag for 3 or 4 transfer windows and let him build a team. Let him buy. For me, I don't really care who we buy as long as it's who Eric Ten Hag wants and a player that Eric Ten Hag's told us to buy. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I do care who we buy, but at the end of the day, I don't want us buying a player because the board like him. I want us buying a player because that's who Ten Hag wants. And that's a player in Ten Hag's plan. Isco free agent. I don't really want Isco. Do not question Frankie de Jong's attitude or professionalism. If he comes, he will only come if he wants to turn other offers down. Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people going, oh, buying Frankie de Jong, you're buying a player that doesn't want to be here. Frankie, you're not buying a player that doesn't want to be here. You're buying a player that doesn't want to leave Barcelona because it's the club he loves. If he comes to United, he's chosen us over PSG or Bayern. So, you know, it's not that he doesn't want to be here. He's just sad he has to leave Barcelona. Busquets isn't prime Busquets anymore, so De Jong struggling. I wouldn't even see De Jong struggling. He's still been one of Barcelona's better players the last few years when Barcelona have been absolutely crap. Says McTominay is a Stoke player. Pyramid says Eriksen available on a free. I do agree we should be looking at Christian Eriksen on a free as well. I think he's more Spurs bound though. But I agree. De Jong's not like Di Maria. That's not his character or work ethic, 100% as well. First thing United need to do is give Ronaldo captain. I agree. I think Maguire will be stripped of captain. A report even came out today that Maguire probably won't even get game time as well. Eriksen could stay at Brentford, very likely as well. This is my first time watching your content, Alice. I must say I really like you. Big up from Jamaica. Thanks for subscribing. Van der Beek, Dion, Bruno, Midfield. I'd like to see that. I don't know if it would work, but I would like to see that in games where we're having to break down the low block. Ten Hag could use Bruno on the wing like Ziyech and Donny is number 10. Maybe. We need a mix of experience and cheap signings. LBG went mostly all cheaper under the radar type, and we saw how that went. Exactly, agree. We need like a player like De Jong, but then you need a player like Sangare. You need a bit of a mix, 100%. But I always say with Liverpool, a lot of their signings before they went to Liverpool were not stars. Salah was a good player. He wasn't a star. Alisson was a good player. He wasn't a star. Van Dijk was a bit of a star, even though he was at Southampton. You know, you need good players that almost aren't stars, but you need maybe that 1 or 2 star signings to take you to that next level. I think you need to do what Liverpool did. Good players, but Liverpool's a step up. You know, going for good players in the Premier League, but United would be a step up. You know, I think that's what you've got to go for. Avoid the big names, but if you can get a De Jong, you don't avoid it. But go for good players. Like good players, you know, the best players in the Serie A, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1. But then if they go to United, it's a step up in their career because they're at sides like Monaco or Lyon. Look at Bruno Guimaraes. He's gone to Newcastle and he's almost transformed that team. You need like Bruno Guimaraes type signings. You know, I'm just using that as an example as well. I've got a little bit of stories to get into. I've barely got into the Timber news, to be honest, and we're nearly towards the end of the live stream, but just joined after leaving work. Is it true that Romano said De Jong and Timber are joining Man United? He didn't say they're joining Man United, but a Dutch source says Timber will 100% join Man United, and Romano has just said that, you know, Man United are in talks with De Jong. What's come out with Timber from Romano is that Eric Ten Hag is intent on buying Timber. Romano said the word Ten Hag's intent on buying Timber, and he does currently consider Manchester United a club he wants to join. Romano's come out and said Timber will be interested in joining Man United and Eric Ten Hag's intent on signing him. So that is Romano basically saying this deal is quite likely to happen. That is what it is. Also, Marcel van der Kraan via The Telegraph and Talk Sport said he's 100% convinced Timber will join Man United in the summer. Timber, 100% convinced, this has come from a good Dutch source, will join in the summer. He also said he thinks Timber's a player that's made his mind up and he will join Ten Hag. Marcel van der Kraan also said for Ten Hag, Timber's a really important player. He's a player who can change the build-up from the back and the real style. And I think Timber will be integral to Ten Hag's play. And Samuel Luck said, although Ajax sends back Timber is Eric Ten Hag's preferred choice, United have had a look at Braga centre-back Carmo as well as a full-back option. But it seems very, very obvious. Timber is who we want. Romano said Ten Hag's intent on buying Timber. Romano said Timber would like to join United. There's been talks going on. I'm confident Timber will happen, and I'm 60-40 on De Jong. De Jong is in Barcelona's hands. Timber, I think, will happen, if I'm being honest with you as well. Romano did say, just getting through a little bit of transfer news, Fabrizio Romano said Wan-Bissaka will have a meeting with Tinard to discuss his future, but it seems that he will probably leave United. Romano said Diego Dalot is a player who Erik ten Hag has had positive feedback for. Paul Pogba likely to join Barcelona, says Romano. And obviously, Romano said that we've opened talks with Frankie de Jong. Barcelona have made the price tag very clear for de Jong, and Manchester United have been informed of Barcelona's FFP issues, which means they might have to sell de Jong, said Romano. Romano obviously said we're intent on buying Timber. Romano also said that Frankie de Jong will look at other destinations if he has to leave Barcelona on top of United. We also know that United quite like Timber. What am I got? United quite like Timber because he can play right back as well. And he's just versatile. We know Ten Hag, what we view very highly is versatility. If Timber joined to replace Harry or Varane, more likely Maguire, but I don't know if Timber and Varane would work well together, which is a bit of unpopular opinion, but I don't know. I don't know if Timber or Varane are the partnership. I don't know. We have to wait and see. Talking of Maguire will unlikely be captain next season, and his starting place in the lineups in jeopardy under Ten Hag. Maguire's not spoken to new manager Ten Hag, and Maguire actually did an interview yesterday. And Maguire said in the interview yesterday, I totally accept criticism. When we concede goals or make mistakes, I'm big enough to accept people getting on my back and saying I can improve. Harry Maguire says football is my life. I care about it every day. I care about the club. He says he cares about United so much. He cares about winning matches and taking the club to where it should be. The fans deserve it to be. And Harry Maguire said every player at this club has not performed to the level expected apart from Ronaldo. But Harry Maguire said, I'm sure I'll be back to my best football very soon. We have a new manager and I'm really looking forward to working with. So, Harry Maguire, very good interview there. Basically said he hasn't been good enough. He knows it, bish, bash, bosh. And he hopes to be better. He hopes to get back to his best. And, fair enough. You can't argue with that, can you? You cannot. So, yeah. Smash a like, guys, and do subscribe if you're new. I think Timber and Varane, unless Varane cannot stay fit, I think that will be the partnership. But I'm intrigued to see how it's going to work. It might take some time to grow because I feel like they're both second centre backs. They don't have that dominant figure as well. Timber Torres could work again, but I don't think we'll sign Timber and Torres when we need about 50 million midfielders. I mean, look at the midfield on the screen. De Jong did play CDM, yeah, but he played in a dual pivot. The good thing about De Jong is he will play in the dual pivot for Ajax. Not for Ajax, fucking. Ten Hag will probably most likely play a 4-2-3-1. So you don't need an out-and-out 6. You just need a player that would complement De Jong in the 4-2-3-1. Well, Romano did not say anything about Pogba to Barca. He's going to Juve. Yeah, Pogba's going to Juventus. Did I accidentally say Barcelona? If I accidentally said Barcelona, I'm sorry. Yeah, Pogba's going to Juventus. That's what I meant. I must have slipped up there as well. And who would be United captain next season? Again, De Gea, Bruno, Ronaldo. I can only see it being one of those three players. If I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I can only see it being one of those three players as well. But I just wanted to get through all the De Jong news. I wanted to get into all the Timber news and all of that. So I do want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning into this video. If there's any updates, I will let you know. If you want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, please do subscribe. Fabrizio Romano came out on his YouTube channel today and said Man United have the intention to act soon on Frankie de Jong. Romano said Lisandro Martinez depends on Timber because he doesn't see Ajax selling so many players in one window. So I think Timber's the first choice, followed by Lisandro Martinez as well. And yeah, and lots of other news coming in. But I think keep an eye on de Jong, keep an eye on Timber. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen soon. Even Fabrizio Romano saying that as well. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news regarding Timber and de Jong, make sure you subscribe. We know obviously that it came out yesterday that United would like to get the deals done soon so they could do their medicals at the Dutch camp. I believe we will sign someone in June. I know it's been weeks and weeks of linked to Timber, De Jong, and Nunez, and we haven't signed anyone. But I generally believe Romano said we're going to act soon on De Jong. I believe we'll act soon on JURRIEN and Timber. I believe that everything's going to be done in the next few weeks. So if you do want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United transfer news and more, make sure you subscribe. I mean, for all we know, it could come out tomorrow that Frankie de Jong's agreed personal terms. So I'll be live to let you guys know all the latest news, incomings, outgoings, if personal terms are agreed, if we put a bid for on any significant news, I'll go live straight away. If not, I will do my daily transfer live streams in the evening. So do subscribe for that. Thanks everyone for tuning into today's video as well. And yeah, it was a good video, good talking to you guys, a good stream. I will be back tomorrow. There might be a video during the day tomorrow as well. I'm not sure, depending on the news, but there could be a video tomorrow and a live stream in the evening. I'll be back a bit later tomorrow evening. I'm quite busy tomorrow, so I probably won't be live till 8:30, 9 o'clock. So just make sure you have that post notification bell on so you know when I'm live and all of that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you.